Morning all, welcome to some Sunday grounding today. Thank you for joining me, and thank you to Wendy and Tana for your inspiration and ideas behind today's Sunday grounding. So today we're going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I know today we're doing psychoeducation, and then the mental noise model. And these are brought to you by Disaster Spiritual Care by Rabbi Stephen Roberts and Reverend Willard Ashley, and then Creating Spiritual and Psychological Resilience by Brenner, Bush, and Moses. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs starts from the bottom and goes up, starts with physiological needs to safety, to love and belonging, to esteem, and then up to self-actualization. And Maslow believed that in order to get to the top, you had to start at the bottom. So basic human needs must be met in order to move to the next level of physical, emotional, and mental human development and growth. So as you can see here, again, there's another model, physiological needs, breathing, food, water, safety, security, employment, etc. And so during right now, a time of trauma or disaster like a pandemic that we're facing now, spiritual and mental first aid must be taken care of. And so that first aid is the physiological needs must be met. So the physiological needs of food, of water, of shelter, of sleeping. And then the safety needs must be met, again, of shelter, but of security, of protection, and of employment, of health, those sorts of things. So those must also be met. These essential needs, when met, motivate us to move to the next level or move towards social needs of belonging, of community, of loving others. So that moves us to the third tier on Maslow's hierarchy, the love and belonging tier, friendship, family, and sexual intimacy. Once we are stable in the social relationships, we move towards the self-esteem. Our own self-esteem, recognition by others, our social status, that sort of thing. And then finally, once all of these needs are met, we move towards self-actualization, which means we can respond to others in healthy ways, we have mature problem-solving skills, and we face moral dilemmas. Covella talks about the mental noise model and how people process information during crisis and trauma. And he thinks when people are under stress in the midst of crisis, their ability to hear, remember information, and understand information is significantly reduced. And that means the mental noise gets louder when people are going through events that are not under their control and where they feel things are unfair or fearful or their outcomes are dreaded or it's involuntary. Mental noise causes people to process no more than 3 messages at a time, process information at 4 or more levels below their education level, and focus only on the information they hear first and last. Because of our crisis that we're in, the COVID-19 pandemic, we are starting from scratch on Maslow's hierarchy of needs and processing through those first 2 levels, psychological needs and safety needs. So we're processing through those for the breathing, the water, the food, and then through the security, the employment, the health. That's where we're focused right now. The increase of uncertainty and the loss of control causes the mental noise to cloud our thinking and our judgment. And how can we process through all of this? That's the biggest question. Thankfully, Psalms 121 says, I lift my eyes up to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Instead, he who watches you over Israel, he will neither slumber or sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, and the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and your going, both now and forevermore. That's some hope right there. So let's do an exercise right now. So get some paper and a pen. And now I'm going to have to ask you to write out a list of the things that you are afraid of during this pandemic, during this time that we're in right now. Maybe death, maybe unemployment, maybe feeling unsafe, maybe getting sick, maybe watching others get sick, maybe losing friends or family, and maybe life never feeling normal again. What are some of your things? Now write out the things that you have no control over. This is a really good thing to write out. Maybe things like the disease itself, COVID-19, the quarantine, or there are so many other things. What are your things? What else are things that you have no control over? Now write out the things that you just don't like about this whole situation, about the pandemic that we're in right now, about about isolation, self-isolation. Maybe you don't like to wear a mask. Maybe you don't like to have to wait in line outside the grocery store. Maybe you don't like loss of your job. Maybe you haven't gotten your stimulus check. Maybe you don't like that you can't go to the movies, that you can't hang out with your friends. Maybe you can't go to counseling like you normally do. What are the things you don't like? Now write out statements of truth, countering those negative thoughts. Yes, those negative thoughts are valid, but counter those with truth. Now, maybe, yes, I don't like to wear a mask, but it's keeping me safe. I don't like to wait outside the grocery store, but I'm not the only one waiting. Yes, I lost my job, and that is scary and stressful, but because of the quarantine, I can't do anything about it right now. And the government has been putting things into place to keep me safe. Remember, it is okay to feel frustrated. It is okay to feel disappointed. It is okay to feel helpless. It is okay to feel like you have no control. It's okay that your mental noise is loud, and it's okay that you are focused on the essentials of eating, sleeping, and safety and shelter. By you making these lists, you are recognizing, remember, you are recognizing your fears. You are feeling your feelings and your emotions. You are recognizing and laying these out. So unlike unicorns that are fictitious and fantasy, by countering your negative thoughts with truth, you are not dismissing your feelings. You are acknowledging them, and you are removing them from the realm of fiction and fantasy and changing them into honest reality. Also remember, you are not alone. You are not the only one going through this, and you are not the only one who feels sad, overlooked, or hopeless. These are normal feelings for the abnormal situation, and these are normal reactions to the abnormal situation we are in. Practice countering these negative thoughts today or this week. Practice countering them with truth. And know that you are seen, you are heard, you are important, you are worthy of self-care, you are valuable, and you are not alone. Bye all. Have a great day, have a good Sunday, and we will see you next time.